Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the HGTB Gundam Thunderbolt Anime version. So here once again in the anime version we've got very minor differences from what the original manga version was of a kit. Basically there's a couple of stickers that we're not going to use for this. I think the colors are maybe changed slightly, but really not going to be too much difference. So if you have the original manga version, really not going to be any reason to get this, except for the fact that it's a really awesome GM design, and you could probably, get a team of them together and you wouldn't be too bad off. So I want to say a big thank you to MindFenix Hobby Store, as always, for sending me this kit to share with you guys. This is, I think, the third Gundam Thunderbolt kit that I'm going to be reviewing for you guys, and once again, really great kit. I'll say right off the bat, I love the design of this. I really like this kit quite a bit. The look of it. The two negative things that I have to say about it are just going to be that it does have a good amount of seam lines that you are going to have to fix on it, and it doesn't come with a base. Now the nice thing about the full armor Gundam was that it came with a really simple base that was simple but quite effective, I thought. Anyway, this one I think this is obviously not as fully loaded as the full armor Gundam, but still it's enough. I think it really should have came with a base. All of these Thunderbolt kits I think really should be including that base. I thought the same thing for the Zaku 2 and Big Gun as well. So, I don't know, it's just kind of a little bit unfortunate, but that's really going to be, those are going to be my biggest complaints about this. Otherwise, everything else is pretty nice. Of course, they have a lot of stickers. This one probably has the least amount of stickers out of all of them, but still going to have a fair amount. But the nice thing is that most of those areas that are stickers are going to be relatively easy to mask, as everything, as you can see, is for the most part very boxy on this kit, and square shapes are of course always going to be easier to mask than rounded things and stuff like that. So not really going to be too difficult in that sense, but I'll point all of those out to you guys here in a moment. Just the colors overall I think are really nice. For that white, it's just a little bit slightly yellowish off-white, and then we have that really nice muted navy blue color, and then that really bright yellow color there for the thrusters on the shoulders and the backpack. I gotta say, one thing about building these Thunderbolt kits is that just getting rid of the nub marks on all those tiny little thruster bells is not fun, and this kit has a fair amount. The next Thunderbolt kit that I'm going to be reviewing for you guys is the Psycho Zaku, and that one has an ungodly amount of those little things. So I haven't snapped that up yet at the moment of filming this, but I'm really dreading building that kit because I'm just not looking forward to that. I have big hands, small things like that, it's just hard to do, and especially when you have to do 50 of them, so I don't know. Anyway, that's on a different note, so let's just get back to this. It has pretty much everything that you'd want it to have except for that base, so can't really complain too much in terms of the accessories. We'll take a look at those here in just a moment. The articulation is going to be pretty nice, and I think we might as well just go ahead and take a look at that now while I'm on the subject. Starting off with the head, you can see you have that nice clear piece there. At the top, that's going to be a sticker, so the clear piece is only for the visor. Then on the back of the head, we do have a sticker in there as well. The head is just on that same kind of polycap ball joint there, so it's going to go up about that much, pretty good, down about that much, pretty good. So overall, just basic, nice movement there in the neck. Shoulders are going to come forward, and you can see that yellow piece there that fits over the polycap is going to be coming out a little bit with that. Going to be going up about that much, 90 degrees basically, and here you can see some of those seam lines that I was talking about here in the upper arm and in the lower arm, just seam lines straight down there on the front and the back. Not the hardest things to get rid of, but those are going to be there. So you can see the shoulder is going to move freely from the arm, so when you are moving it up like that, you can move the shoulder out of the way as you like. Really like the design of these shoulders too, by the way. You can see here up at the top, and then in the elbow we have that textured part, but again that has seam lines on it too up here. Here it does not, but this part is going to have that seam line, so getting rid of that will be a little bit more tricky because obviously sanding that is not really going to work. You'll have to just sort of glue and hope that that seam line is not really shown. You can go at it with a file and stuff. There's lots of different ways, or you can just completely redo it with putty or something. lots of options. But anyway, let's get back into the torso. Torso is not really going to have much articulation, but again, like I said with the full armor Gundam, I think that's probably for the best because you wouldn't really want it because then it's just going to be sinking back the whole time because of the heavy backpack. And in this case, the backpack's not as heavy as the full armor Gundam, but it is still going to be pretty large. So the lack of articulation there in the waist, aside from turning, of course, is going to be perfectly okay with me. The front skirts you're able to separate those and move them independently. Here for stickers, we have a sticker there for the V and the crotch. Stickers here for the yellow parts at the top of the skirt armor, on the front, sides, and the back as well, which you can't really see because it's hidden back there, but it's there as well. The side skirts, again, we're able to move up and down very slightly though, because then they're starting to run into this part there at the waist. So not going to be too much you can do with those, but I really like the design of the skirt armor too as well, like just really simple, boxy there. The legs are going to be pretty normal here, rotating at the hip, then we get a nice bend here at the knee, able to bring the leg up nice and far there, up like so, and then the bend in the knee is going to be looking pretty good here. We've got 4 yellow stickers here on the inside and outside on both legs, so it's 16 little yellow stickers there for those little verniers on the legs. As far as seam lines on the legs, you're going to be pretty much okay except for this one here on the back, but again, that one's just pretty flat, easy enough to get rid of that. The ankles, we have a nice downward point here. The ankle armor is going to move just a little bit. Side to side is going to be not bad, and forward about like that. It does have that same kind of GM flipper movement there in the foot, but it's really going to be pretty minimal in this case, so not really a whole lot going on with that. And under the feet, we got some nice details there, so no hollow spaces under the feet, and I realize I forgot to talk about the elbows, so we'll go back to that. Slightly more than 90 degrees, but not quite 180. We have this nice piece there on the elbow. It's going to add some nice little detail there as well. So that is pretty much it for the articulation. Of course, the hands are on ball joints. Nothing moves on the backpack except for these here. These are the folded versions of the articulated arms, which you can use to hold the shields, which we will do a little bit later. So those will move a little bit, but basically you're just going to keep them like that while not using the shields. As far as our weapons and accessories, here we've got just this beam rifle. This is a short beam rifle. I think this is basically a beam spray gun, like the GM's style beam gun, but Thunderbolt version. It has this ammo clip here. I'm guessing that's what it is, some sort of Thunderbolt version of an E-cap on there, because we can see here on the backpack we have extras of that. Those parts are joined together, so those aren't separated. You can't like pull out one at a time. You could. You have to modify it a little bit just because those are just meant to basically just be one piece on there. So there's that, and of course we have the trigger finger, which I've just got attached onto here. On the kit's, in case you didn't notice, we just have closed fists. There are no holding hands because there is no beam saber to be used with this kit. Kind of unfortunate. I guess it doesn't have one, but you would have think that probably it would have been included, but it's not. So anyway, whatever. On the other side, here we can see I got the trigger finger just already attached onto here. This one as well. This, I guess, double beam cannon, I guess it would be sort of like that. And yeah, this one also is going to fit. How it works is you're going to put this on the arm like this. Why don't I just go ahead and show you, I suppose. I'm going to put this on the arm first. And you can see this part is going to plug into the arm via this male peg, and then it has these 2 female peg holes that are going to plug into that part. So that all is going to come together like so. I missed that polycap there. Yeah, there we go. And so that's going to be nice and secure on the arm, no problems holding that at all. That's going to look nice. It's going to be pretty monotone there, just in this really dark gray color, but you know, that's how that goes. And then we have our 2 shields. Now here they are like that, same color schemes as the mobile suit. And we have 2 different options for how you want to connect them. We have these articulated arms, which are going to replace those parts in the backpack. These are going to rotate here at the top, and this whole main part is just kind of fixed. Then you can change the connection point here, rotate that, or bend up and down. It's just got these claws that attach onto the handle there. Or you can attach it directly onto the arm with these pieces. So we have 2 of those pieces as well, these connection pieces, so you could attach them both onto the arm. But of course, this arm is a little occupied at the moment, but in case you want to just put the shield on this arm like that, it's going to attach on like so. You can also attach it onto the back of the arm. If you were so inclined, you could do that as well, like so, but I don't know who really likes shields attached onto the back of the arm. It just doesn't really seem to make sense, so we'll just take that off for now. Now if we remove this piece on the backpack, We can then plug in this guy here, and then here is the shield attached onto the backpack. As you can see, this shape is a little bit weird and you'd think it wouldn't be very good for trying to pose this, but it actually works pretty well. There we go. It'd help if I had that plugged into the polycap correctly. Now if you want to move this forward, you have to kind of like rotate that up. You have to like put this all the way back, so then this is rotated forward, up, over the shoulder, and you can see then it can kind of be over the shoulder like that, and it's going to be really close. Like with the full armor Gundam, you could set the shields like out pretty far away from the Gundam. With this one, it's going to be really close in front of the GM if you want to have it in front. Or if you want to have it like in the back or off to the side or something more like this, obviously it's going to be a little bit farther back, something like that, so it's going to be looking pretty cool. I kind of like the look of having one on the backpack and then one on the side of the arm. But it's nice to just have some options here, whatever you want to do. Of course, under the waist, we just have the same attachment point for a peg-style action base, so let's check that out here. So here you're going to see the GM sort of compared with the full armor Gundam. Obviously, it's going to be kind of hard to just have them standing next to each other, so I had to have them sort of posed up a little bit as sort of like this in-space pose with the two of them. I gotta say, it looks pretty awesome with all this shields and everywhere and guns and all of that, and just like both of them sort of looking like they're flying in space together like that. It's gonna be pretty awesome for making some sort of dioramas, or even just some displays on your shelf. Like if you just have a couple of these like this, just Thunderbolt kits, I think displaying them on a shelf together is definitely gonna be pretty impressive. And now that I'm just like looking at the full armor Gundam again and just thinking about how intense that master grade is going to be, I'm just thinking, oh man, that master grade is going to take a while. But anyway, yeah, these are going to be looking pretty awesome if you get a few of them together, that's for sure. So obviously up on an action base, you're going to have a lot of really nice posing options, and as I covered before, the articulation of this kit is really quite good. It's not going to be like the best articulation I've ever seen in an HG kit, but it's definitely a lot better than many. I don't know. Anyway, it's above average, we'll just say that, or it's very good. But of course, an action base is definitely, I would say, highly recommended for this kit, and really should have been included. But I don't want to keep continuing to say that because I think you guys get my point on that. So otherwise, with those shields back like that, it really is kind of reminiscent of the Powered GM cardigan from Build Fighters that had the shields on the arms like that. Those arms were much more articulate. I guess if there's something else that I wish this kit had and the other HD Thunderbolt kits had, was that the support arms for the shields, I wish they were maybe a little bit more articulated. Also, you can see here on the back of those parts, you can see there's some hollows in those, which is a little bit disappointing. You're probably not ever going to really notice that too much unless it's a situation like this where you have them pointing back and you're looking at the kit from behind, but most of the time you're probably going to be looking at the kit from the front or the side, and you're not really ever going to notice that from those angles. So that's a small complaint, but I guess that is something that might bother some people. So really, that's gonna kind of wrap up this review. There's really not much more I can say about this kit. This is kind of one of those kits that like it's really cool, and there's kind of a lot of stuff that you have in there in the box, but there's really not a whole lot much else to say about it. I mean, if this is a kit that you are going to be wanting to like paint and do all that stuff to, I mean, it's going to have its fair share of seam lines that you're going to have to work on, and definitely a lot of masking. But as far as the Thunderbolt kits go, that's kind of been a constant for a lot of them. Look really super cool, but definitely some seams, definitely a lot of masking you're going to have to do. And that's just kind of the way that it has to go, unfortunately, with these kits. But, I mean, they're really nice kits, and if you're willing to put in that effort, then of course you're going to have a really nice product. But even if you aren't willing to put in all that effort, even if you just want to just snap it up out of the box like this, and even just throw in some panel liner on there as well, it's still going to look pretty good. You are going to have some seam lines on the arms and legs, and I think maybe on the cannons there. But I think you are still going to have a pretty nice looking kit there, and it's really quite dynamic with all those things. I do definitely wish that the shape or angle or the mobility of those sub-arms for the shields was a little bit better. Like I said, they hold the shields really close to the mobile suit there if you have them in the front. So if you want to have the shields in the front, they're basically there like for just defense, which I guess makes sense. They're there for defense, but I mean like they're like right in the face. Like that's the only thing the suit can be doing is like just defending. Where like with the full armor Gundam, you can have the shields like out in front and they're just kind of like hovering there while the Gundam is still like attacking, shooting. But this, it's kind of hard to do some like shooting poses with those shields right in its face. So that's about it, guys. If you do have any other questions or comments about this kit, feel free to leave those down below. Other than that, that's going to be it. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.